Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mind's Eye, and today on the podcast we're going to talk about a contentment order. And what is a contentment order when you are a retired nurse, stay-at-home mom who's homeschooling, who's a military wife, and has to be everything and anything and something to nothing on a daily basis, but looks as what someone once said, you look rancid. So basically what I said, it ended up being a formidable review to be it known on a loan, on a bone on a stone of a gun, spelt with an OAM. That literally means an investigative review. When someone is formidable source sound, it is a type of injury after someone has been done in. To the DUN, to the DUNN, to the DUNE. And when that happens, you actually have to be called in by law enforcement first. So law enforcement does their investigation from afar first. And then you are to seek medical, but it is unbeknownst. So you can go and seek medical when you can. It's at intervals because they're so highly intuitive. They're so almost like psychic overdrive, these individuals, to where the premonitions are so bad. They actually have to be with someone all the time to calm them down and let them know what's in reality. But really, what I wanted to talk about was contentment. What is contentment at this point? Contentment for me was actually being able to go back to a normal daily living per se. So, daily activities such as bathing and dressing and cleaning the house and keeping up with everything to smart, realistic goals that I knew as a visiting nurse doing home care, that I would be able to be able-bodied again and go back to work. That was my contentment. But as it became a disarray, I had to change my goals and realistic and realization that things happened on a deployment that can be not spoken of after it happened. And then also to multiple minors in the area. So when that actually happened in a form-based review, it actually went to signs and symptoms in my own children and in the animals saying, I think it's best to stay home. Then the news came out of the instances of a just show up. And then it went all the way through. So when they ran the slew again, you couldn't even get it done hard enough and fast enough. But in reality, when you actually make it slow down, it's called a piece of paper of a who is you, PU. I said, this is a game. This is a game. So when I actually look at the United States to global universal collection to collector to collective, that you couldn't even be done yet on contentment, especially how it ran through on all of it towards the elections. So when I see it and it says, and that's derogatory, it is president-elect, says, here we go again, words in the mouth. So basically, it takes a while. It takes a while to settle down from the words in the mouth. But all you need to know is this. You couldn't even believe sound, what came out of the mouth. In reality, I've actually spoken Cockney for a really long time, and I've been a magician for a really long time, and it's not a bad thing. It's not derogatory, it's not trickster, but I can mimic and I can go about, which is why law enforcement and military love me. But not in a bad way, but I usually do it more in a cantankerous way to a highest beknownst. So I am highly educated per se, but I do it in my own way. I don't always have to have a piece of paper to show or walk across the stage to be owned alone. But back to the elections. So when you go back to the elections and you actually see how it played out, and we be respectful because it was earned and not inherited, you have to say it was known that it must be a smooth transition. And it must be a smooth transition to the basis of known, all forms of the spelling, to have it all, to be it all, to show it all, to be. And even up to the derogatory term at times, depending on how you look at it and how you feel about it. But when I actually see the drink bay and someone's being a bay to all forms of the meaning, I have to say, who did a stick on you to be a boo, of a loo, of a shoe, of a goo, of a moo? Because you can't even do the do hard enough and fast enough. Because when you do a slick Rick move, and that's all you need to know. Now, on a daily basis, for me, my victory was waking up not coughing and bronchial spasms. My day was getting up and getting dressed and keeping up with the pace of daily life. My victory was being married and having children and overcoming death because I had stopped breathing multiple times. Because in reality, it was heard so loud where I was that many are grateful to, per se. I don't know, I don't believe it. I haven't heard that. All I heard was you're not in reality. And then it went to everything and anything and something and nothing. And that's how you know you're going to crack a case open. And not in the worst of way. So when it actually came to TOW, I said it's almost done because it only happens once. It was happening 5 times to 15 times a day. All you need to know is that when it is a contentment order, or to what contentment is, it is in the eye of the beholder, to be it none, to be it null, to be it all, to know it all, to show it all, to be. And for me, it is continuing to have the inner knowing as well. So one of the worst things that I ever sound or shirred or be paste or post or anything like that was about homeschooling and how I had to pay a fine $25 a day if I didn't teach them still the same way as they were learning in school. And I said, that's actually against the law, a 38, 12, 93, 43, 44, 4. All law and addendum state down to general statutes that I am to teach them all the way up through a college degree in a work-like environment. So what is work? Well, for a 10 and 11 and 12-year-old and 2 listed as autistic, work is relative, all forms of the meaning. They are working to know because they're intuitive and they can hear. So what was the slam that actually came down and through to where my kids are formidable unbeknownst? That happened a lot in the 90s through sound transference. And when it came through as sound transference, it was because of radio waves. And that is why many are still on the uptick about the 5G towers. And that's all you need to know. So as I urge you out, unbeknownst of known, of known, you have to go out and be heard. So how do you be heard? It was written out, it was wrote out, which might be a wound for those who went to Afghanistan and to Iraq, to be it known that the loan of the sown of the bone of the gone is near, to be a near of a deer and to go have a beer. I'd prefer not. Absolute. And that's all you need to know. So, and the current date and time, contentment for me would be being able to keep up with my laundry all day long and keep up with the animals, keep up with the pace of unschooling and getting out of all the bad habits that literally can't even be near the kids right now. And then also the animals, all of it, as I repeat myself, and that's okay because that's normal when you're listening to 58 things at once. What was the most important? Getting a drive and being able to be like this and drive safely. And that's all you need to know. There is life after recovery, after that type of injury, if you survive. I don't urge you to go out and be like that, as it can be trending, because it was to hell and back into the heavens above to be able to sit here and say, I would catch you on the flip. I'll talk to you soon.